Hello and welcome to Words or Win, the once weekly podcast in which we get together and discuss Game of Thrones. I am joined today by a lot of people, so we're going to get immediately into it. This is a Season 7 recap. So,
Show is.
Spoilers. Like a motherfucker. We're going to get in this shit. Alright, we're going to fucking do it. We're doing it live! I'm joined, as always, by my co-host, Chris.
How's it going?
I'm okay. You doing it live?
I'm doing it live.
Are you?
Yeah.
You want to talk a little more shit about LG products?
Maybe off air.
Okay. In case they have a response or something.
Hey, my opinion is not the official opinion of Loud Table Productions.
My opinion is, and I say, I don't give a shit.
That's fair.
Well, also joined by James.
I guess I'm the only one with a damn opinion about LG. Fuck me, right?
Do you like LG?
I do.
This is a Game of Thrones podcast, but fuck it, this is the LG cast now.
Yep, it's the LG cast. I'm here to talk to you about the LG OLED. Screw it. Hi, everybody.
I like LG. I'm okay with it. I had a rumor for forever.
Oh, yeah?
Literally my entire life. I was born with a rumor in hand.
Well, I remember you had an HTC One for a long time.
Oh yeah, dude. That thing was great too. It was like aluminium backing or whatever the fuck, and like I remember just throwing it
I
at
like
the
that
wall.
you say aluminium.
Yeah, I threw it.
Say it correctly.
It makes more sense to me. It's a metal, you know.
Yeah.
It just sounds more metally. But anyways, so I just threw that motherfucker at the wall as hard as I could one day by accident. It was just one of those times where your brain just shuts off, and I was like, "Hey, Scott," I just got my cat, and I was like, "Hey, Scott, take a picture of me with the cat." And he was like, "Okay." And he like put his hand out, and I like tossed my phone to him. But instead of like tossing my phone at him, I was just like, burp, and just threw it as hard as I could at the wall. And it hits the wall super fucking hard. And then like I went over and there's no damage at all.
Nice.
I was like, this thing's indestructible. We're also joined by Anthony.
Hey guys, I'm here too.
You've been sitting in silence.
Fuck it, we're doing it live.
I'm always doing it live.
How's that new LG phone of yours? Speaking of the damn conversation that got brought up.
It's pretty aight.
Pretty aight.
Yeah,
Aight.
I'm satisfied with my decision, even though.
Let me tell you, here's the reason I hate LG.
And here we go,
LG phone.
ladies and gentlemen.
Brand new motherfucking LG phone. Had the bitch setting on my desk one day. Went to bed. Woke up. Still sitting on my desk. Screen didn't work anymore. It broke from nothing.
Yep.
So how about Game of Thrones?
How's that Duncan battle treat you?
It's fine.
Anyways, guys, this is the Season 7, Episode 1 recap. We are going to be discussing it in detail. Yeah, so let's just get right into it. First thing first, I'm the realist. Second thing second, let's just go around the table and get, like, rough idea, just in general, how did you feel about the episode?
Okay. Who wants to start?
Me.
Okay.
Because no one said anything for a full second.
Okay, fine.
All right, so,
Well, first let's break this down. Two of us here have read all the books.
Hello.
Most of the expanded universe stuff I've read. You've read.
I've read all of it, baby.
Then the other two of us have not read the books, and one of us has only ever actually seen a little bit of the show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we have all kinds of Song of Ice and Fire experience here.
Yeah, so I'm the one that has sit here and I've watched all the show. I have not read any of the books. And that's not to say that I don't want to give the books a chance. I've just lived too busy and crazy of a life and have not had time to sit down and read it. Whereas, you know, indulging in a TV show is a little bit easier of a thing for me to do. But I have seen everything up to and including Season 7, Episode 1.
And then Schmelantionally.
Yeah, me, Anthony. That's
Schmangela?
it's the proper way to pronounce it,
Schmonathan?
Matt.
How many schmeckles would I have to give you to change your name to Schmelantionally?
15 schmeckles.
Steve Price. I'm Mr. Booby Buyer. We have yet to talk about Game of Thrones. All right.
Anyways, I just
Anthony's the new guy here.
didn't really care about it until I guess I just hung around people that cared about it because I don't like watching stuff that's famous until
Team Venture.
until it's not famous anymore.
You say that, but a huge portion of it is you just don't watch things.
That's also true.
98% of the things that I bring up in a conversation about old movies or shows, you're just like, I've never seen it.
Yeah, like he'd never seen like Alien.
Or Blade Runner, or...
Yeah.
You guys
So-
don't judge me.
Game of Thrones. I thought this episode was pretty okay. I had problems with a couple of scenes of just characters I just don't give a shit about.
Right.
Or things that are different, that I think are going to be different in the books in a general sense, or I'll get into my details here in a bit. I just figured we give a general idea, and then we'll break it down scene by scene after that. But yeah, it was fine. It was fine. I've now accepted the show is not gonna ever be as good as the books. It's gonna let me down. It's gonna break my heart always. So in my mind, none of this matters.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the show doesn't matter anymore. I'm literally just watching it so I can talk about it to these lovely folks.
I feel like if they released another Dragon Age game for you, right, Matt? You just play.
Yeah,
it
BioWare's dead to me completely at this point. They're dead to me.
Fair enough.
Done with them.
I personally, overall, I like the episode.
Yeah, it was a fine episode.
It's not. There were a couple parts I did have problems with that we'll get into in more detail later. But overall, I thought it was a good episode.
I thought it was solid. I had a problem with not really the pacing, but
the jumping
it was
around.
a lot of motherfuckers talking, which is fine, but whatever. How did you feel, James?
So for me, I thought it was pretty decent. There was a you're
Good
all
job,
right there?
Matt.
Sorry about that, ear people.
Ear
But,
people.
people made of ears.
They're not like regular people.
I have so many eye holes.
But there were most certainly some parts that I loved, and there's a lot of parts that definitely seemed to kind of drone on. I would state that this episode had a few pacing issues, but overall, I think most of it's episode 1 syndrome for Game of Thrones. It's like that. It seems to be that way for every single season.
Except 4.
Episode 1 always seems to have a slow burn.
Except for season 4. Season 4 was the one where the Hound got into that fight at that bar.
Yeah.
That shit
Absolutely.
was
I'm gonna
dope.
make
as
you eat every
fuck.
fucking chicken in here.
That was great, Anthony.
I mean, I was confused the whole way through. So,
Who's this asshole?
what's this asshole talking about?
He has
Well, you
said,
see, his name is-
recently.
Why
Yeah.
is this bitch touching the dirt? What is
Well, you see, this guy is Dondarrion, and he's been resurrected like 7, 8, 9, 10, fucking 13,000 times because he follows the Lord of me.
Whoa. It's only 11,000 times. What were you going to say, Chris?
I don't remember.
But yeah,
I don't remember. I apparently
as far
don't care,
as
so.
television cinematography goes, it was pretty aight.
All right, so that's the general thing. Let's go
Sure.
scene by scene. So, first scene, the phrase.
Oh God.
That's the scene I hated.
The poisoning at the beginning.
Yeah.
So here's my thing.
Spoilers.
I really
They
liked,
shouldn't be here if they weren't prepared for spoilers.
listen, I've given 2 spoiler warnings already, so
Yeah.
if they're still fucking here, that's on them. Come fight me, all right? That scene, I was okay with that scene, honestly. Solely because the dude who played Walder Frey, was really good.
Yeah.
He was really good at, conveying that, being Walder Frey and then, slowly
Being less Walter Frey.
less Walder Frey. I didn't like it in general because the Faceless Men magic is fucking stupid in the show. And I don't, this small, tiny girl is turned into this old man all of a sudden.
She's getting a little taller now, so.
Still, though, there's limitations.
He was
to the
also
magic.
sitting the entire scene for the most part, and this is something I was thinking of. I personally really liked that scene because I have been rooting for Arya to get her revenge for several seasons now. There's a lot of douchebags in Westeros that I feel deserve a comeuppance, and it's good to see that comeuppance slowly start to pay off. I would say, even as someone who's never read the books, it does seem a bit much, and definitely on the side of high magical thing. Either that or she's great at doing impersonations.
Yeah. Because, I can understand, fudging the whole height thing, There are certain things that you can just kind of get away with on camera. I can understand,
The face.
the face.
masks.
Fine. The voice.
Yeah.
That is pushing it too far. That never happened in the books.
Well, that's the thing. That's the whole thing about the books is you can't physically change you.
Yeah.
You can really, all you can do is, put on disguise. If
it's a
you're-
really, really good disguise,
Yeah.
but it is still just a disguise.
disguise, yeah.
They described them
a-
actually doing the process of making the faces and shit.
Yeah.
It wasn't
So
super magical.
So it's one of those things where it's just that annoyed the shit out of me. That bothered me a lot. what else didn't I like? I didn't like that very like Game of Thrones-esque fucking like very like this is meant to be the cool line, you know what I mean? Where she's like, tell them the winter came for the phrase.
Yeah.
And then she like drops the mic and then she walks out.
The edgy
moonwalking.
line.
Yeah. She
Yeah.
looks him in the eye and she moonwalks away. You know, I don't like that fucking shit. It's just like, just shut up. Just kill people and leave like the Hound does. Like,
Make a joke about chickens and
Yeah.
kill some people. That's all we really want.
Exactly.
Because we all know the hero's not always badass.
What do you think, Anthony?
Again, I was confused for most of it, obviously. But as far as the scene goes, I'm all right with it because I understand that Game of Thrones is supposed to have some form of magic
I feel like
nature to it.
I
But
feel like most of this discussion is going to be you being like, it was fine.
I'm confused. This is
I
good.
didn't care.
Now, moving on from there,
by the
it
end of
jumps
season,
right to Old Town, right?
No, you get the scene of the White Walkers.
Oh,
I
yeah.
believe, like the little thing, which I didn't need to see that.
It was a little pointless.
It's like here we go. Oh, here I go walking again.
Yeah,
oh boy, here I go
I even
killing
made
again.
comments to you in the middle of the episode. It's like, are they really blowing their load
Populous
now?
Michael is
Yeah.
my favorite Rick and Morty character besides Scary Terry.
Bitch.
But yeah, they did. James definitely made a good comment about that at that part of the episode. It was entirely pointless.
Yeah.
I mean, it was neat, but it wasn't needed.
Here's my thing. For being the White Walkers, those motherfuckers walk slow as dick. It's
I don't think I've ever seen an actual White Walker because from what James was explaining during the episode, the White Walkers are like the ones with the blue eyes and all
Yeah.
buff and crap, and the other ones are just like, what are they?
Whites.
Just whites?
So yeah, the
I don't
White
think I've ever
Walkers-
seen a White Walker walk.
The
I
White
think they're
Wa-
always like sitting on the back of a horse or some
yeah.
crap.
They only really see him walk
In
in the
Hard
first
Home.
couple seasons.
No,
the White
also
Riders.
in Hard Home, you definitely see
Yeah.
them on foot.
Well, I'm saying season 1, you see one in the opening scenes walk. You see them. Really, you don't see one on horseback until end of season 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
'Cause you guys
closes
also-
one. It closes one on a dead horse next to Sam, and then he does like the cry or whatever. But then even after that, they go back to foot season 3 when Sam kills one.
Yeah.
I think that's the last time other than Hard Home.
And again,
Yeah.
I've not seen most of this stuff. And
Yeah.
like I was trying to jump in there, hopefully by the end of this season, I will be caught up with everything.
Yeah, he's watching the show
You're-
actively as well.
Your wife started watching it at work today.
Yeah.
But yeah, just to kind of get you an idea, the White Walkers are not as like emaciated and rotten looking. They have bluish white flesh with blue eyes, and they are semi-intelligent. I would say you never really hear them
They're-
speaking.
They're wholly intelligent in the books.
They're
Yeah.
wholly intelligent. Okay.
It's just that the show dumbs it down because they don't want they don't want the villain in the show to be detailed. I guess they want them to be a villain. Whereas
They-
in the show, in the books, they're much more just some guys. Like they have their own culture, they have their own language, they interact with each other.
You
they-
don't get
and-
to see it a lot, but
yeah,
it's there.
But it's
Okay.
there. So they, I fully believe the White Walkers have a completely legitimate reason for doing what they're doing
Yeah,
in
'cause-
their own right.
George doesn't like to write one-dimensional things
Exactly.
anyways, so it wouldn't make sense for them to just be evil for the sake of being evil and to be the antagonist of the series. I
Yeah.
fully expect that we're eventually going to get some sort of information about why they're doing what they're doing.
I hope so. All right. So what's the next scene after that?
Now I think it jumps to Sam at the Citadel.
Sam at the Citadel.
What was it? Was it Sam first or was it John first? Doing the whole thing of forgiving the two families.
I think it was the John thing. Now that you mention it,
Okay. So John's scene. How did y'all feel about that?
I actually like that scene.
I did.
It kind of puts John in the whole like leadership role a little bit more. I like it. I like how you get that call back to Ned Stark a little bit, but you also have that like duplicity between him and Sansa there, or duality, not duplicity.
Sansa's gotten some fucking spice in her. I tell you that.
Still hate her, but
See, here's my thing. I like Sansa. I've been on Team Sansa this entire time until this episode. The second she was talking to John and John was like, of course you can question my counsel. When she's like, "What? I can't question your decisions." And he's like, "Of course you can question my decisions, just not in front." And then she interrupts him and says, "Joffrey never let somebody question his decision." I was like, "Fucking kill her now." I was like, "Fucking kill her, kill her." I'm done with her.
if it was anyone else, she'd have caught a hand. but
Dude.
it's John, and he's not going to go there.
Yeah, I would literally have killed her right there because it's just like, why even? Are you fucking serious? Like you're gonna try and compare Jon Snow to
Joffrey?
to Joffrey just because it fits your argument? I'll fucking murder you.
Joffrey was like the 12-year-old looking dude.
Yeah, he was the one with the super punchable face.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or a slappable face if you're Tyrion.
Yeah.
I'm a man. I punch people.
The Tyrion's problem was he kept his hand open when he hit Joffrey.
Yeah. But yeah, so like that immediately, because I've been on Team Sansa this entire time. I've been like, Sansa's gonna come back one day. She's gonna be a badass. She's gonna do it all or whatever. And then she just said some shit like that, and I was just
She crossed some
I was just
lines.
like,
I do really like his judgment call there.
Yeah.
And yet Sansa had some points to be made. It's like, well, aren't you going to, reward those who were loyal to you? It's like, yes, they deserve to be rewarded in their own right, but he's right. The sons should not be punished
Yeah.
for the fathers.
so
Well, he also didn't want to split up what little people he has at this point.
Also entirely true.
here's the running theme I saw throughout the episode, and I'm not sure if everybody else caught this, was humanizing your enemy. Mm-hmm. Was a big running theme throughout the episode. So you have Jon humanizing the Umbers and the Karstarks. Then you have, later in the episode, you have Arya sitting with the Lannisters, whatever.
That
So you-
was actually a scene that I liked, honestly.
We'll get into it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just a running thing of humanizing the enemy throughout the episode, which I really appreciate if they're going to actually explain some shit about the White Walkers. We skipped over a scene, by the way.
Which scene?
Bran wanted the wall.
Oh, yeah, Bran. When Bran and Mira show up at the wall.
Now, that scene I felt was a little short. I feel like they could have made that a little bit longer.
I still think it served its purpose fine.
Yeah, I mean, it did what it needed to do.
I kept feeling that they were going to look back and see, because I noticed Mira kept on looking back away from the wall.
Well, after the shit they'd seen.
Oh yeah, and they're scared shitless. But I kept on imagining we're just gonna catch a glimpse of something off on the horizon. But yeah, what I want to know is, and boo on me for forgetting his name, but John's uncle,
Benjen.
Benjen. Surprised we didn't see him. Granted, I understand that since he is kind of a White Walker or something of that
White.
nature.
Yeah, and end of last season, he said he can't go past.
Yeah, he can't go past the wall, but why wouldn't he be able to at least go up to it to deliver? I guess because he
Got
didn't
shit
want
to
the
He's got stuff to do, man.
yeah. They
He's
also
got-
didn't want them to see that he was
got
still
business.
alive. I guess.
Yeah.
You got business that you got to take care of. But yeah, so that scene served itself fine. I feel like it was very just like shoehorned in there, kind of just like
I
throw this
felt
in
it-
there. We got an extra couple
Take
minutes.
out. They could have taken out the scene with the actual White Army. Cut
Flesh
that
that
whole
out.
thing and just smush. Also, take out the part of the Sam bit and fill in the gap with more detail with Bran.
Yeah, because
Because now that Bran's not training with the three-eyed raven under the fucking weirwood tree, his story's probably going to get a lot more
yeah,
interesting.
Bran is one of the characters I'm the most interested in right now, seeing what they're doing, because Bran now has all this knowledge. He's now one of the most important characters in Westeros.
Now we just got to see what the fuck he does with it.
And now I'm just curious I'm very curious to see what he does with it. I don't know. It's going to be very interesting. I also love Dolorous Edd. Any scene with Dolorous Edd is
Oh
great.
yeah, any scene with him is great.
It's great, dude.
He's probably one of my favorite characters in the show at this point.
I feel like
He's also one of my favorite characters from the books, but I imagine he comes across a little more like just kind of a bummer in the books.
I feel like in the books he wouldn't have even asked. He would have came there and he would have been like, "Y'all wildlands," and she would have been like, "I'm Mira Reed and this is Bran Stark," and he would have been like, "Cool, come on."
All right,
All right.
bring him in.
And what's the worst that's gonna fucking happen? We got
The worst that happens is they're fucking wildlings, and
Yeah.
we've got 1,000 of those already.
Yep.
So fuck it.
So what about the master of shitpots?
Well, I want to hit up the Jon scene a little bit
Yeah,
more.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
We
So-
weren't finished with that. He just
I just remembered that there was the scene in between.
yeah.
Fair enough.
And it was so short, I know I would have forgotten. So the Jon scene, we got something that you were waiting for, I feel, Chris,
Which part?
which was Tormont
Oh, yeah.
creeping.
The
Oh
Tormund
my-
creeping on
Tormund
Brienne.
just
God,
like-
that was the best scene.
That
You're a lucky
great
man.
face.
No, one of the things I actually liked about the King of the North scene, I liked. I don't remember her name, but the girl that the Mormont kid.
Yeah, the tiny bear. Little
Yeah.
bear. I think I want to say it's.
Standing up to...
Is it Liana?
Yeah,
No.
I want to say it might be Liana,
I think you're right. Because I think she's named after Lyanna.
possibly. But
Lyanna Mormont, that is her name.
Yep.
yeah. What? Where she's just like,
Where
I
she-
don't need a man to protect me, you fucking dick.
Yeah, where she stands up and just shuts that dude the fuck down.
Yeah.
And then everybody's like... yeah, she's
Stands
got a
up and
fucking
talks
point.
to him like she's about to slap the silly off his face.
Her balls are bigger than the wall.
Thing I want to
It's like,
touch.
we're going to train everybody on Bear Island. I don't know what the fuck you're going to do, but are
Yeah.
you really going to be shown up by like a 10-year-old girl?
Well, that's the thing, is it also shows just how desperate John is, that he's like, hey, teach the girls to fight too.
Yeah.
And it's not desperation; it's realization of the threat that's there.
We're also finally getting some book stuff where he has the wildlings going back to the wall to defend some of the castles. I really like that a lot.
I do.
Because that's a big thing in the books is once he lets the wildlings through, he starts sending wildlings to different castles. He also has one castle on the wall that's just female wildlings
The Spear
to keep
Wives.
them safe from like all the dudes or
Yeah.
whatever. You know what I mean? So they might actually take all the girls that are trained
And put them there.
and put them there if they do a big showdown at the wall,
that would also make sense, like...
story wise.
Yeah.
So that was an interesting little bit.
I think that's going to be really neat as hell. The only thing I don't like about it is that means that Tormund is going to get sent away, obviously, with that.
Yeah.
And I want to see more. I hope they do have some scenes for him up there because he is an amazing character with
Yeah.
his rape face.
Tormont's one of the best characters. One of my favorite quotes in all of Game of Thrones is, "I've seen you, Pekka. No god would have a Pekka that small." It's like one of my favorite lines in all of Game of Thrones, dude. But yeah, so that was good. I didn't really like Sansa questioning Jon in front of everybody. Like, she knows better. I feel like that was very purposeful, just to undermine him in front of people.
he called her on it.
Yeah.
Well, you seen it caused a little bit of unrest in the whole situation at first.
If it was any other time, it may not have been so big a deal. But at that exact moment, it was the worst time.
Well, it mirrors Janis Slint. So his first order, once he's become King of the North, is questioned the same way his first order when he became the Lord Commander was questioned. And Janis Slint, he just cut his fucking head off. Or whatever. But of course he can't do that. So now he's finally getting into like the bullshit political game
I mean, he
stuff.
could, but
He probably questioned.
it sounds and he won't cross that line, I don't think.
Oh, also, and speaking during the scene still, Littlefinger.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
This is actually a big scene, actually.
Yeah, pretty meaty scene. Littlefinger, I'm kind of put off by Littlefinger. I love Littlefinger. I want Littlefinger to survive everything.
It
He's
feels
not
like he's
going to.
taking more of a back seat now.
Yeah, it feels like he's taking more of a backseat where like Littlefinger's whole deal is he does not take a backseat. he is always shucking and jiving and moving and
The
rolling.
thing is, how do we know he's taking a back seat? How do we know, like, in his mind, his plan is set in motion, and now he's got to watch it come to fruition?
Well, even if you go back and look at like the first, because he's not a point of view character in the books, but in like the series so far, the show, he's been pretty regular character. He always has a lot of scenes. When he's in scenes, he has a lot to say. But right now, in this episode, he has
He's
a grand
usually
total
a
of
really
like 3
strong
lines.
catalyst for the
Yeah.
for the
Usually-
events taking place.
Usually, when he talks, you want to stop and you want to listen. And he just didn't feel like he had that presence in this episode as
Yeah.
much to me.
I also feel that Sansa is, like, maybe weakening his kind of outward shell. Like, I definitely feel that she has become, like, kind of his biggest weakness and possibly his downfall.
My other problem with
Quite possibly.
Sansa is she's like, fuck you, Jon, you're blah, 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 right? But then Peter comes up to her and is like, hey, what up, girl? How'd that butt feel? And she's like, get the fuck away from me, dude. And it's like, okay, so you're not going to side with the King of the North and you're not going to side with the dude who owns the Knights of the Vale, so you got no power, lady.
You're alienating all the people that you need to keep close.
Yeah, so, that's fucking dumb. And then her whole thing about Cersei, the Southerners have never marched that far north, ever, in the history of Game of Thrones, especially not during winter. So, Cersei is not a threat to Jon at this point.
She has far more pressing issues, like, Daenerys, because Dragonstone's not that far from King's Landing.
No, it's a hop, skip, and a jump.
Yeah, Daenerys and her forces could be at King's Landing, at the door of the Red Keep, in a matter of days.
Yeah.
They have very little to worry about at the moment from Jon.
Yeah.
He's not waging war on the South. He's waging war on the further north.
It's just one of those things where it's like that was such just a throwaway line. It was very much just for the transition. I feel of transitioning to Cersei real quick,
It was a segue. Is exactly what the hell it was.
which is actually the next scene.
yeah.
Is the Cersei scene. Anybody have anything else they want to say about
Are you
the
sure?
Jon scene?
I thought the
yeah.
Yeah, because remember the
I am.
map room?
'Cause
I thought the Sam scene took
I
place
was
first.
I was skipping through the scenes on my way here.
Okay.
Is the reason I remember this because she says at the end of that scene,
I know the
Jon's
Sam
like,
scene was fairly early because it goes back to it.
I'm pretty
I
sure
think
Sam
it was.
scene's after
I
Cersei.
yeah.
think it was between the White Walkers and the Jon Snow scene. Honestly,
I don't think so. I was skipping through scenes on my way here. But I know that the Jon Snow scene switches into the Cersei scene, and the reason I know that is because it ends with her talking about Cersei, and then he's like, "It almost sounds like you admire her," and she's like, "Oh, she taught me a lot," and then it cuts to Cersei. If you guys want to do the Sam scene first, though, we can.
Let's do the Sam scene because
fine.
it's less in depth.
So Sam scene, how did y'all feel about it? I had no strong feelings either way.
The first part where it's going through the literally looping the part where he's like cleaning shit and then serving lunch, I felt was entirely pointless. It drug on way too long, and it kind of pissed me off. It felt like a Geico commercial to me.
The only thing I can think of is it's supposed to be indicative of like he's been here a while. It's like their way of like saying he's been here a while. They just didn't do it well.
Yeah, like it felt to me at the end of it, right before it cut to the part that mattered.
Yeah.
It felt like it was going to follow up with like say 15% or more on car insurance. Like it just felt like a segue into the end of
Do
a
you
Geico
feel like
commercial.
your life has no meaning?
And I hated it.
My thing
but then
though-
it cut to the part where he's helping the Archmaester, and you got some actual important,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
content there. I liked that.
How much did you think that we were going to get like a run in with Marwyn?
I was hoping that may have been Marwyn, but it wasn't.
I was thinking that the guy that was coming down the hall might have been Marwyn or whatever, and he would have just like stopped at the cage or whatever, or left the cage unlocked purposefully or something like that.
'Cause the thing is, at the Citadel, there are multiple Archmaesters.
Yeah.
It could have been Marwyn. They didn't name him. They
Yeah.
didn't do anything to indicate that it was.
It's upsetting though that
We're still
so good.
this far, and we haven't seen
Seen
Marwyn.
Marwyn, yeah, exactly. We saw Mary Mass Door, but we haven't seen Marwyn.
Yeah.
This is
well,
bullshit.
evidently his talk with him did something because he does have a book later on.
Yeah, he gets
Oh, yeah.
into the restricted section.
Well, extensively, that's because he steals somebody's fucking keys while they're sleeping. But I like the little back and forth between him and that Archmaester, where
Oh,
he's
yeah.
like, "No one believes me," and then he's just like, "I believe you. I just don't care. I'm busy. I got other shit going
I got
on."
way more shit on my plate right now.
And it also, from the way he was talking, is like, look, dude, I believe you that those things are out there, but Wall's saved us so far. I see no reason to freak out.
Another thing I'm interested in Old Town this season is if we will finally get a fucking High Tower appear at any point. Because the High Towers are one of the most important families in Westeros. They're one of the most important families in the history of Westeros and in current politics in the books. The High Towers are very, very important. And we haven't seen a High Tower in the show at all. We've never even heard the name High Tower, I don't think.
I think the closest we've seen to a high tower is the original Kingsguard, but he's not. He wouldn't have been named.
Yeah.
He's just there
So I'm
because Gerald Hightower was
yeah.
one of the Kingsguard in the first season.
So I'm very hopeful that the High Tower, because I'm pretty sure in the books could also, this is just what people say, but I'm pretty sure in the books they say at the top of the High Tower you can actually see the wall. Honestly,
That'd be
that's a
crazy.
line that they say in the books. Of course, it's probably just them saying that, somebody saying that, but
That's a long fucking way.
One other interesting scene that happened during the Sam scene, Jorah.
Yeah. Well, that was a second Sam scene later.
Yeah.
But
Oh,
still,
was it? I
Yeah.
got those two
it's
blended.
fine. We can just
We
cover it
can
now.
just-
so
That was so short, we could just segue right into it, and then we'll circle back.
So Jorah is in Old Town like we expected. His grayscale is obviously
A lot
progressed significantly. I don't know. I'm not sure how I feel about this. I feel like Jorah is gonna definitely die this season. Either way, I feel like he's gonna get sent north of the Wall in all the scenes that we've seen in the trailers, and I think he's gonna die there.
Yeah.
That's my personal belief.
we can
He
hope
gives
not.
the Night King's fucking stones.
grayscale.
Then he becomes the Gray King from the fucking books. But yeah, so
prove us
I
wrong.
don't know. The Sam thing is just kind of setting up stuff in the future. I do like the restricted section. I'm curious as what book he's gonna find. One thing I really didn't like though is the whole he's flipping through the book and he's just like, this is Dragonstone. They have dragon glass. Ooh, it's like, dude, Stannis told you.
Like, in exactly these words. Hey, dragon glass.
Yeah, we have tons of dragon's glass on Dragonstone. You forgot that world-saving detail until now.
He does mention that Stannis told him.
And then John also forgot, but he when he comes across it, it's like something clicks. He's like, "Oh, John has to be told about this immediately." They were both told about it, and neither of them fucking remember.
Back in the John scene, he was saying, "Hey, we need people mining dragon."
but he said, "I need the Maesters to look for dragon glass." He doesn't seem to recall that there's an island of goddamn dragon glass that you were told about the season before this.
Well, maybe like his thought process is if it's over
It
there,
would be 2 seasons before.
Fair enough.
if it's
But
over
still.
there, there's a chance it could be somewhere else, and maybe he's trying to find it somewhere closer.
yeah,
as
because
opposed to-
that's all the way in the south.
Here's the thing: he's gonna go there anyways. We have leaked set photos of them in Dragonstone.
Yeah.
Spoiler.
So it's just like, why even do that? Why not just have him? That's just lazy writing. It's just have them be like, in that scene, this is all you need. And supposed to having Sam come across like, oh, fucking dragon glass. You could have just had John be like, okay, first thing, I just became king of the north. We got to go to fucking Dragonstone.
We need to
It
mine
gets
that
these
bitch dry.
motherfucking dragon glass. Like, why not just have that? Why'd you have to have Sam be like, have two separate things like, we need dragon glass. A couple scenes later, I found dragon glass. We've known that's there this whole time, but fuck
So
it.
is dragon glass basically obsidian?
It is exactly
It
obsidian.
is literally called obsidian.
Okay.
Yeah. But it's
You
so,
are not wrong.
it's just fucking stupid to me. Like that annoyed the shit out of me. What else goes on in the Sam stuff? Anything else?
Aside from how big the kid is getting, nothing really.
Yeah, that's about it. Him sending off the Raven to John
Oh.
with the information that they all already knew.
So one thing that I did notice. Did you notice the dagger?
Yeah.
The dagger that Littlefinger had was in that book
Yep.
or whatever, and Arya's probably gonna end up getting that dagger.
If I had to guess, yeah, you're probably not
So
far
I'm
off.
curious of why that dagger's in that book.
I bet that dagger's more important than just.
You think
That's
it's
what I'm-
Valerian steel?
It is
Well,
for
we
sure
know.
Valyrian steel.
We know it's Valyrian steel and dragonbone as the
Okay.
hilt. Got to get that dragonbone. All right. That's the knife we were selling.
You don't think they're gonna have
the
like?
Eviscerator.
You don't think they're gonna like foreshadow that knife and that ends up being the thing that kills the
Yeah, it's the-
freaking Night King?
It's the super secret
probably
magical
will.
weapon. It is, Dawn or some bullshit.
oh god.
Fucking this
It's
is
Lightbringer?
Lightbringer. Yeah.
It's the motherfucking sword, the mythical blade.
That's a
Piss me
tiny
off.
ass sword.
That'd piss me off so fucking much.
Or it's a piece of Lightbringer.
Something like that. Yeah.
They
Anyways,
got to pull it together, Lord of the Rings style.
Yeah.
that
Gotcha.
annoyed the shit out of me. It's been split up into 6 daggers that they then have to melt down and reforge. Luckily, Gendry's coming back, bitch.
oh god.
Gendry's
Reforge
been
him.
I don't-
growing.
I get the feeling they're probably not going to kill Gendry because he seems like too obvious of a link to be able to reforge Valyrian steel.
That's fair. I like the old Gendry. All right, so from here, let's go into the Cersei scene. The solo Cersei scene with Jaime. How'd you feel about that?
I liked it. I didn't have a problem with it.
I
Felt it was a bit of a dick move for her to be standing on the painting, even though it probably wasn't still wet. But
so
the
here,
dude's still actively working on it, at least.
once again, humanizing your enemies. So we're led to dislike Cersei, you know what I mean? Treat her as an enemy. I did like that moment when he's like trying to talk to her about Tommen and she just shuts him down. Because like I very much got the impression like if she starts talking about that, she's done.
Yeah,
Like she has to
she
shut that
can't
down.
let that in at all.
Yeah. that has to be gone. You know what I mean? And I like that a lot.
Put up the fucking wall and leave it.
In our pre-guesses, I already guessed that, they'll probably be going to Highgarden first
Yep.
and fucking shit up. The Lannisters will. And based off of that conversation, that seems accurate.
Yeah,
I definitely feel that Jamie, like this is what I thought at the end of season 6, and I feel it even more so now. Just the way that Jamie like looks at her and talks to her, he sees the Mad King. I think that's all he is seeing at this point. He has ceased to see his sister, his lover, whatever. like in the back of his mind, he's trying to figure out what the fuck he can do to stop this.
I think that Jamie hasn't reached the point he is in the books. In the books, he's completely done.
Yeah.
He's done completely. He's over it. She sent him a message asking for help, and he just burned the fucking message, ignored it ever came.
Yep.
And I feel like we're going to get that this season. I feel like at some point she's going to reach out to him, and he's just going to say, fuck off, I'm done.
Now, I asked Chris this as far as predictions go. And I figure you might be doing like predictions at the end, but
Yeah.
this is kind of pertinent to here with the whole prophecy of, her
Valentine.
children dying and,
Yeah, the Maggie the Frog prophecy.
the brother killing Cersei. Do you feel it's going to be Jaime or do you feel it's going to be Tyrion?
The thing is like, from a storytelling standpoint, Tyrion is the obvious front runner in the beginning. Jaime is now,
The more likely candidate.
the more likely candidate. I don't know. The thing about I know how it's going to go in the books, I feel. The show, though, is so badly written at this point in my mind that I can't actually predict what they're going to do, because I'll be like, this is the best choice. This is probably what they should do. But, of course, they know that that's their best choice, or they don't know it, so they're probably just going to do some random bullshit that makes no sense, because that's how they do things now.
Yeah.
I actually have started theory crafting that it's not going to be a direct murder. Like, the little brother wraps his hand around her pale white neck, or whatever, right, is the wording. And I'm thinking because Tyrion is now hand of the queen, and there's a place in Westeros called the Neck, and it's a very important trade route. I think Tyrion is going to cut off trade via the Neck and slowly starve Cersei out.
This is one that you kind of came across literally just last night or so, right?
Yeah, that's something I was thinking of yesterday whenever we were recording the season 10.
It just kind of
this
popped
episode
up
10.
and fit
That was
so
something
well.
that popped up, and I think that fits well. The other thing is that it's High Valyrian, it's the little brother, but they don't actually dictate that it has to be her little brother. So really it could be any little brother.
Yeah.
I'd like to see Bran kill.
Could be Bran, could be Jon, could be the Hound, it could be anybody, really.
Yeah.
That's what I would like to see. Fuck Clegane Bowl. I want to see the Hound kill Cersei.
Yeah.
That'd be great.
Oh, maybe that's how they finish up Clegane Bowl.
He just
The
walks
hound
over. and
the Hound kills fucking the Mountain, and then immediately just goes for Cersei.
that'd work.
That would make me interested in Clegane Bowl being an actual thing.
But yeah, so the other thing is that there was an interview with Nikolai, the guy who plays Jaime,
Yeah.
and somebody posed the thing of like, do you think that your character will end up choking Cersei to death or whatever? And he said, it seems too on the nose, which indicates to me that so far he has not had any concept of, this happening. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, he's had a concept of it, but I feel like he personally thinks it's hack based off of what he was talking about.
Yeah.
Which I do as well. So honestly, I don't know how she's going to die in the show. I have no concept.
Back
anything
onto
can
the
happen.
subject that we were on, though, that particular scene. I think we all pretty much talked about, what we thought our thoughts were on that scene, because the whole little bit of confrontation back and forth between Cersei and Jaime. And yeah, like I said, I just think Jaime is definitely, as you said, getting done with the whole scenario.
Yeah.
Another thing is, through some interviews with Lena Headey, she has talked about how this season she's very emotionally abusive towards Jaime.
You can see that right.
Oh,
out the gate.
absolutely.
So that's going to be an interesting dynamic. Is him? I feel like throughout the season he's just going to slowly
drift away.
drift away. They're going to do what he did whenever he left in the books or whatever. Just they're going to do it with him fighting this war now, opposed to the other one. Euron arriving. Let me tell you something about the Euron actor. People can feel what they want about Euron, the character.
That was
but
one of my
dude
favorite
is-
scenes.
The dude is so charismatic. I love just his charisma. Love it.
That was an amazing performance for one.
Yeah.
I love that scene so much, and it makes me feel like we've had a tier of psychosis, madmen, just villains that started with Joffrey, went up to Ramsay. I feel this guy's going to be the most psychotic out of
Yeah.
all of
And
them.
they're
I hope so.
downplaying him hard.
Is he a little brother?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It'd be really cool if he's the motherfucker that.
She's already pointed out that he's a fucking backstabber.
Motherfucking Anthony has seen most of 2 seasons and 1 episode of this one is already tossing out valid theories.
So, like, because that would be something priceless he could bring back to her.
Well, he also did say in the throne room, and I have 2 hands.
2 good hands, yeah.
2 good hands, yeah. My thing, I loved his outfit too, by the way.
Oh, it was great.
I want that gear so bad. But yeah,
I was half expecting him to come walking in there with like that dry, crusty salt that's on all their damn clothes.
Yeah.
And no, he's looking all like fucking sharp and a black.
yeah, he had a queen to seduce, baby.
He should have walked in wearing the fucking Valyrian steel armor.
Dude, well, what do you think the gift is going to be that he's going to bring her?
Oh, he's going to try to go kill. I feel he's going to go try to kill Tyrion and bring her his head.
All right, so
I don't think it's going to be quite that straightforward.
my theory. Well, the second he said I have a gift, like I thought he already had the gift, the way he was phrasing it at 1st, and I was like, he's gonna bring her the fucking dragon egg.
Yeah.
Now I'm thinking he's gonna do what he's doing in the books and go try to get her a dragon. That's what I
could
think.
be, yeah.
I'm still sticking with my theory.
In the books right now, that's what he's doing. He's loaded a boat full of like ham and delicious meats and stuff like that. He has an enchanted horn that he got that's supposed to be able to bind dragons to somebody's will.
Yep.
That he picked up in his travels.
Specifically
And he-
called the Dragon Binder.
Yeah, and he's going to Marine currently to steal a fucking dragon. So I'm thinking that may be what they're doing. If that's what they're fucking doing,
Instead of going to Marine,
oh my god,
going to the island. God, what's the name of that island that they're on?
Dragonstone.
Yeah.
Yeah, go to Dragonstone instead of Marine.
Mark
try
the
to steal
dragon.
one of her
That'd be
dragons.
so fucking good.
Oh, what if
want it so bad.
he's able to steal Drogon?
I think it would be a lesser dragon. I don't think he'd be able to steal Drogon because
think so?
I feel Drogon's going to be with Danny until the end. I also feel like there's probably going to be a dragon turned by the White Walkers at some point into a white dragon. So I'm feeling like that would be great for Euron and Cersei to get a dragon. Danny and Jon, if they team up, they have a dragon, and then the Night's King with his dragon.
Oh, no! See, there's 3 dragons there. So he steals one. Danny has another. They have an undead dragon.
Exactly.
And then Bran is able to warg into Danny's 3rd dragon. All 4. What the fuck was?
That'd be good stuff, man. I'd watch that. Listen, I hate.
Big ass dragon fight.
I don't like dragons in general. Like in this show, like I fucking hate dragons because they're just such a plot device. You know what I mean? They're just used for plot purposes or whatever. And like, yeah, so I'm not a huge fan of the dragons or whatever. But if that's how it
You'd be
breaks
totally
down,
okay with him dying.
as long as Euron fucking steals a dragon, I'm down for whatever. At that point,
Yeah.
I'm just like, boom, in. You did it. Wow. But that dude's fucking charisma, man. When he's in there and he's just talking about killing people.
Yeah,
Like,
It's wonderful.
There
You
were too
should
many
try
of
it.
them.
When
Place was getting crowded.
My favorite fucking line is when he was like, whenever
It's talking about Jamie.
right in the very beginning, right in the first back and forth or whatever, he'd be like, I'd really like if you helped me kill them. He just comes out and says it. He's just
my entire favorite line is when she has he's like, didn't you kill your brother? It's like, oh yeah, it's a great feeling. You should try it sometime.
Yeah.
It's like the look Jamie gave him.
I just love Euron, dude. He's the best, dude. He's so fucking good.
Yeah.
All right, enough of that scene. We've covered
We covered it in
important bits.
detail.
Oh yes,
Yeah.
because it was a great scene.
I also like the thing where he like steps on, like it almost felt like he was
Steps up.
testing, like he was testing everyone in that room a little bit. Whenever he like steps on the thing, and then like the mountain moves or whatever, and he like is looking at the mountain.
Oh,
I
he
fe-
was absolutely pushing boundaries.
I feel like he was very much kind of just investigating what kind of people they were more than anything.
Yeah.
Like I feel like he was playing them, trying to get a bearing.
Yeah, absolutely. It was
Which is so good.
sizing him up, basically.
The Crow's Eye is one of the best characters in the book because he's a fucking psychopath. The thing is, they've downplayed how crazy he is from the books.
By about 80%.
Yeah, he's so fucking crazy in the books that you're just like, Jesus fucking Christ.
Especially for the
Psychopath.
sample chapters that they've been releasing.
Oh my
like, he is like
God, I
Lovecraftian evil.
I know.
Yeah, I've been told by numerous
So good.
sources that he makes Ramsay look tame.
Yeah, he really does.
He makes Ramsay look like a priest.
The thing that I love though is like he said in an interview, the actor was just like, my goal is to make my character bigger bad than Ramsay. He said that in an interview. And everybody that I've been watching on their predictions that you can tell aren't book readers because they're just like, well, he's got some pretty big shoes to fill. I don't know how he'll do that. Ha 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 ha. And it's just like, just fucking take the sample chapters from Wins.
So you didn't have to read any of the series. Just go read the sample chapter.
Yeah, he's a fucking psychopath. He like, oh my god, we're not
He
going
would read his lines directly from the book, and he'd be
Yeah.
sold.
Fucking. Anyways, so what other scenes do we have?
I believe after that
left?
was that the Hound and Dondarrion next.
Yes.
Yes.
Well,
So
technically, I believe it was the other Sam scene, but we covered that.
yeah. So
Well, we got the
Arya scene.
Arya where Ed Sheeran.
Yeah, Ed Sheeran.
I think that happened after the Hound scene, though.
Let's do Hound because
Okay.
Hound is my favorite. Maybe not my favorite scene. The Euron scene might be my favorite scene, but the Hound scene I loved.
Just the stare into the fire scene.
Oh well, yeah.
Yeah,
Everything
I
else-
really like that scene.
I don't want to off trail immediately within the scene, but my favorite moment in this entire episode is when Thoros comes outside and the Hound is digging the graves.
Yeah, that was.
And then he picks up a shovel and starts helping.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
Now, correct me on this one. Was that the house with the father and the child that they were at
Yes.
earlier on, in like
With him and
some
Arya.
seasons ago?
2.
Yeah. It was
Yeah.
season.
It was season 2 or 3. It would have been 3 because it was after the Red Wedding.
Yeah. It was so. This is once again humanizing the enemy. I feel the Brotherhood without banners are often looked as like, crazy fuckers. You know what I mean? They're not good people, especially in the books right now with the Lady Stoneheart stuff. They're not exactly seen in the best of light or whatever. So it's kind of humanizing them, and it also humanizes the Hound in a new way that a lot of people haven't seen, especially Thoros. Thoros has never seen the Hound act like a normal person.
He's only seen him act like the
The
Hound.
Hound, exactly.
I do like the grave digging scene because it's a good shout out to the book.
Yeah, the Grave
And
Digger.
for you two, since you haven't read the books, basically Podrick and
Podrick and
Brienne
Mhm.
are on their quest to find one of the Stark daughters. Doesn't matter which one. But I think it's still Arya, actually, at this point, isn't it?
Either that or they might have switched to Sansa. It's not really important.
Not really important, but they're looking for them. And they come across this place called the Isle of Silence. And on the island, there are a bunch of monks who have all sworn vows of silence except for one who's kind of like, I guess, the leader.
Yeah, he's the lead brother.
Yeah,
essentially.
he's pretty much allowed to speak so that he can like integrate with everybody else on behalf of the monastery kind of thing. But while walking through, it's brought up that, they find the Hound who is, quote unquote, died. But the way he's talking to him, it's all mentioning like philosophical deaths, not so much like
Actual
they're
physical death,
literally
so, yeah.
fucking dead. And at the end of it, at the end of the little scene in the book, they come across a gravedigger who is injured. He's got kind of a gimp leg. He's taller than fucking anyone, taller than Brienne, and there's very few people in the books that are described that way.
He has a dog with him.
Dog approaches him, and he pets the dog and keeps digging the graves. You never see him like full on in his face, but everyone is pretty much assumed that is Sandor Clegane, who is no longer the Hound because the Hound is dead.
Yeah. So James, you've actually seen. You remember like last season the whole thing with the Hound.
Oh yes.
It's basically that, except for
It wasn't Brienne in the
he
books.
he still doesn't come back.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
His story is over in the books, I do believe. And that was one of my minor complaints from last year. Like, I love the Hound, and I love having him back because he always steals the show. He's always so good. But
Amazing.
I like his character being back. I do not like that they're really like pushing the plot towards
Yeah.
the Clegane Bowl thing. I like the idea of him just giving up the whole being the Hound and trying to live a life of peace.
I still feel that people are saying, "Oh, Clegane Bowl is going to happen." I don't think it's going to, and especially with this one, with the whole thing of him looking into the fire and seeing the wall, it really makes it seem like Sandor and Dondarrion and Thoros and all them are going to start heading north towards the wall to help with the walkers. That takes them as far as can be away from the mountain and Cersei. The mountain will not leave Cersei's side, and Cersei will not leave King's Landing.
well, here's the thing: they're heading to Eastwatch.
Yeah.
We know people are venturing north of the wall for some reason. We know one of those people is the Hound.
Yeah.
So we know they get to Eastwatch at least, and let's say they get past the wall. This is all theory territory after this.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure the reason they're going north is to get a white to prove to Dany and Cersei that the White Walkers fucking exist.
Yeah.
So if that's
They're
the
not
case,
fake.
then they could technically, if that's a earlier episode in the season, they could capture a white and then bring it south. So it's still possible. I am now thinking, though, much less like I'm along your lines of thinking. I don't think Clegane Bowl is going to happen.
Even though, didn't they basically confirm it?
There's a shot of a guy who looks exactly like the Hound. Like, they have sunlight behind him, so it's like the shadow, but it's a massive dude, long hair, pulling out a massive fucking sword. And he's definitely in a southern area. He's definitely in what either appears to be King's Landing or possibly
Kingslands, at
Dorne.
least.
Someplace, you know that color palette?
Yeah.
You know, like the browns and like
The
the muted
reddish
colors.
browns and yellows.
Yeah,
and-
it's that kind of thing. You know, which we've only really seen in Dorne or King's Landing. I guess it could technically be like Casterly Rock or Highgarden. We haven't seen those
I'd be
places.
cool if it was Casterly Rock. Because I want to see Casterly Rock.
But the way it's shot, it's not just going to be some rando, and there's not many people who fit the description of a massive dude with long hair
and a giant sword.
and a giant sword.
Fair enough. I just feel like
Of course, to be fair, we have gotten confirmation that fake scenes have been filmed.
Yeah.
So,
It's possible they just put that in there as red herring.
yeah. they're-
exactly, and I would feel if it best not happen. Yes, I understand so many people want to see it, but I feel it's been hyped so much that it doesn't need to happen.
Yeah, I prefer it not to happen, me personally.
I would absolutely hate for it to happen.
The thing about Clegane Bowl is the reason that it became so big and so like, hype train, get a fuck aboard, no chickens are safe, fuck the king, whoop whoop, is because it was so ridiculous and so dumb. It was just the dumbest theory, you know what I mean, that you could find proof for.
yeah.
And that's why it became
It
so
was
big.
literally like splitting hairs and pulling it
Yeah.
at loose threads to try to like fit a theory together.
That's why a lot
and
of
it
the
was
memes...
just so asinine that it was a fun theory.
Yeah, that's why a lot of the memes you see are like... people will start
top.
asking questions, and they'll be like, "What's Clegane Bowl?" And they'll be like, "Shut the fuck up, get hype," you know what I mean, or whatever. No one needs to know what Clegane Bowl is, or whatever.
I feel it would be much more epic to have the mountain go down having to fight someone like John.
Kills the dragon.
Or hell, even having the mountain fight. God, I'm
dragon.
horrible with names sometimes. The guy who's supposed to have blue hair in the books. That's with
Dario?
Hearts.
yeah, Dario.
Dario's been left in Essos.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Shit. Fuck.
Yeah, because they had kind of like a bad breakup, as it were.
Yeah, or hell, even have Yara fight them out.
You know
Fuck
what
it. I would love to see like someone unexpected to have to fight and beat the mountain.
I would like to see Tyrion grab a fucking crossbow and put one between the mountain's fucking eyes. That's what you get for sending me to fucking die, you cunt. Bloosh!
but he'd only be able to do it when he
Here, I'll
catches the
finish my
mountain.
trial
and
by
have to take a shit.
combat.
Yeah. All right, so
Well, you can't miss the mountain. He's a huge target.
anything anybody else want to say about that scene? I really like the moment when the fire like cracks and he's out of it for a
I
second
do-
and comes
jumped.
back.
I
like
do
that a lot.
like how like he gazed into the fire and like he gets all these visions because you wouldn't expect it from the Hound.
Yeah,
And I like the reaction that Dondarrion had.
it's kind of like
because
the
Dondarrion's like, wait, what?
yeah. It's kind of like the
I can't even see this shit in the fire. I have to listen to this bald motherfucker, and you're seeing it.
yeah. So it's one of those things. They also really heavily imply that there's a reason Barrick's been brought back. Now in the books we know that's to give his life to bring back Lady Stoneheart. In the show, what do you think that thing is going to be? The thing that he was brought back to do. I feel like he's either going
I think
to.
he's. I don't know.
I feel like when they're north of the wall, because once again, trailers, we've seen him north of the wall with a sword of fire. I feel like he's probably... Sorry, touching your leg. I feel like he's probably going to do something big there and maybe save somebody that would have died otherwise. Like maybe Jon gets injured and he throws Jon on a horse or whatever while everybody else is holding them off, like the Whites or whoever they're fighting off, you know what I mean?
Do you think Thoros is going to serve as the replacement for Melisandre?
Possibly.
Even though we have seen her in the trailers.
My thing... One thing I don't
think
like...
she's going to Dragonstone, though.
Yeah, possibly. The one thing I don't like is that Thoros in the first season he was in it, which was 2, he's so over the top and so crazy and he steals every scene he's in. But now that you've put the Hound with him, they have to tone him down or whatever for every scene. Because you remember like the first time you see him interact with Arya, he's just like, "You seem like dangerous persons. I like dangerous persons, you know what I
Yeah.
mean, and stuff like that. What made so many dangerous people like you and stuff like that? Like he really steals the show in all those early scenes, and I feel like they've had to dial him back quite a bit.
Yeah.
I also did love whenever the the Hound is just like, you bald fuck. You think you're fooling anybody with that top, bud? You fucking bald shit. I love that, dude.
He also may be a bit more laid back because the situation has definitely become more dire, and even they realize it. It's pretty harrowing to realize there is an army of the fucking dead about to barrel down
And it's
upon
not
the
even
world.
like regular zombies bad. It's magic zombies
Well,
bad.
the thing about Thoros is like that's one of my favorite things about him, especially in the books, is like he's like that party dude. You know, he's dumb. He was not a good priest. He always drunk and he was whoring around and stuff like that. And he's still
he's
kind
a
of that
pretty
dude.
good he's a really good swordsman, but
Yeah.
he's not like
First through the breach, baby.
Yeah.
Anyways, but
won
like,
the melee at the king's tourney.
yeah, my thing
Or
about
the hand's tourney.
Yeah, my thing about Thoros is like, excuse me, I love him as a character because he walks that line. Like he still drinks when he's with the Brotherhood, and he's still like a piece of shit kind of, but he also like knows that the second he says in season 2, he completely gave up on believing in the Red God. And he said the words over Barrack when Barrack was slain.
Yeah, Barrack
it was
dies.
the
He's like, I've got nothing else.
It's
so.
the only it's the only thing I know to do. So he did it, and then he got brought back, and now he's like still in between those two things. He's still the drunken, whore, lecherous, whatever the fuck dude. But then he's also like this very stern guy. He's still able to be stern and stoic, and he knows that something important's going on.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things I love about Thoros. And if they kill
He's
him,
a
I'm gonna be
really
upset.
he's a really good character of duality.
Yeah, he's very complex character, and I like him a lot.
I've used that word twice in this podcast.
What else we got? Ed Sheeran scene.
Yep. I was all right with the Ed Sheeran scene. It was a little bit long and pointless, but I liked it.
I like the scene for the theme of humanizing the enemy or
enemy.
whatever. Arya realizes, like, because you can see her when she first approaches, she's eyeing up everybody where the swords
Very
are. Blah, blah, blah.
clearly,
Gonna murk 'em up.
Lannister troops.
Yeah, she's very obviously sizing them up, seeing if she's going to murk them, and if she is, what's her plan? You know what I mean? She's making
Yeah.
her plan in her mind, and then she slowly starts to realize, oh, these are just people. The only
Yeah.
problem I had with the scene is, like, they did, like, 4 close-ups of Ed Sheeran, and it's just like, I know that's Ed Sheeran. Stop showing me Ed fucking Sheeran.
And they started off by him singing.
Yeah, it's just like, look, it's Ed Sheeran. Oh, I've never heard that song. It's a new one. Like, it was so very much. It felt like, because normally the
They
cameos.
could. I like the singing bit because you don't get too much of that in Game of Thrones, but
Yeah.
you get enough to make the world feel like
like
legitimate.
it has an actual culture.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. And I definitely dug that scene quite a bit, simply because, like you said, at first she's just like, I don't know, and then she goes like, oh, this guy this one kid just wants to get back home to his father and like get on his fishing boat and all that. This guy's got like a kid he's never seen yet.
Yeah.
You
And
stop, it
they
makes you
even
stop
as-
looking like them as enemy troops and more like, oh shit, these are just dudes.
They're just dudes.
Yeah, and even one of the soldiers, states is like,
line.
I hope it's a girl. Like, why do you hope it's a girl? It's like, no, I don't want it to be. A girl, takes care of her father when he gets older. A son just goes off to fight in someone else's fucking war.
Yeah.
Like you can tell from that one statement that these guys don't care that they're having to fight the North, or they're having to fight Essos, or they're
kind of just happy to be away from King's Landing.
yeah,
they're just-
they were happy to get away from that craziness, but now they just miss their families. They don't give a fuck about Cersei and her wants. That's just what they've been conscripted into doing.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know. I enjoy the scene itself. It's just that Ed Sheeran cameo just brought me out of it so much, dude. They just like normally the cameos are just they're in the background. You know what I mean? It's like the dude from Coldplay playing the drums, or like guys from Ice Man playing in the balcony.
If it had
or
been anyone
Julian
else-
Wildlings walking around.
If it had been anyone else, I don't think it would have mattered so much. But Ed Sheeran's just such a noticeable person.
But,
Apparently,
like,
this
they
scene
just,
just
like,
works so well for me
face,
because I don't know who the fuck
face,
Ed Sheeran
boom.
is.
Ed
Sheeran's
Sheeran does
face.
a lot of like he's a famous like singer.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah.
He
He
does
does
a lot of like
like,
acoustic love song type stuff.
Yeah, and a lot of like Celtic songs.
Yeah.
I guess I listen to too much fucking rock and shit. Because
He's
I don't know.
on
technically-
94.9.
He's technically alt rock.
He does.
He does a lot of like songs that are like
He's just
Celtic
poppy.
folk songs too.
Yeah, he's like pop
very
rock.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that was pretty much all I got out of that scene. What scene was next after that?
I think my favorite part from that Arya scene though was like the whole "I'm gonna kill the queen," and they're all just like, "All right, cool, whatever." Thinking she's joking.
My thing,
She's
the
100%
the
serious.
one thing I didn't like about that is like how long the pause was. Because in reality, if like you said that and people were gonna take it as a joke, they would immediately start laughing. No one's gonna sit there and look around stoically for a full 30 seconds.
Well, I think there was just like, do we take her seriously? Well, no, she's kind of a small girl, but I don't know. We don't know her, but
It reminds me of that scene with Great John in season 2, I think, or season 1. Whenever like Rob bites his Grey Wind bites his fingers off, and then he stands up and he like makes that shit joke where he's just like, "Your meat is bloody tough," and then no one laughs because everybody's still tense. So he's just like, everybody's like, ah ha ha ha. It's just kind of like trying to save face. Everybody's trying to save face at that point.
Let's all turn this into a joke so that nobody stays mad for much longer.
Was the next scene Daenerys?
I think so.
Yeah.
Have we missed a scene at all, or are we already at the end?
We're pretty much at the end. There wasn't really anything we missed.
Well, I think the other Sam scene would be around here, but we've already covered that.
Yeah.
We've covered the Jamie scene with Cersei. We've covered...
Yeah, I think we're good.
Yeah, I think we just get up to
it's just the
Daenerys'
Dragonstone
scene.
part, yeah.
All right, so me, obviously, I fucking hate Dany. I hate her with passion so much. But I am very excited. We finally got an actual good look at Dragonstone, which I like. I like Dragonstone.
I really liked the setting for that. It looked phenomenal. Because prior to that, you've only seen like the cells.
Yeah.
I think you got to see the Shireen's room.
And you got to see the map room. Yeah.
And then like you got a shot on the like beach where they were coming up because that's where they were burning all the statues of the gods and shit.
And you got that same beach whenever they push Gendry off.
Yeah. You also get a shot of Gendry's room while he's staying there.
So, let's see here. I really like the setting. I like the way that they shot it, where there's no dialogue. Everybody's just kind of giving her space. There's like that moment where Grey Worm goes to walk to protect her, and Melisandre's like, "No, just give her the space." And I like, and I like when they go into the map room. The only person that actually follows her is Tyrion, which is her hand, of course, at this point. So. That makes sense to me, and I like that. It shows that closeness.
One thing I don't like is when she walks up and she has the Baratheon banner, just like tugs it a little bit and it falls down.
Yeah.
It wouldn't have been that easy.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't like that personally either. I thought that was a little bit over the top.
It was a little silly.
It's very much just like the person that wrote it was just like, and this fucking indicates like her taking her home back from like the pretenders or
I'd
whatever.
have been
I'm like,
more
I don't
okay
give a
with
shit.
it if she'd have taken one of the torches and dropped the torch on the banner at the end, just because I feel like that would have made it a little better.
My thing is like the scene is already her returning and claiming this land back. You've already
Let
made
me
that
touch
abundantly
the
clear.
sand of my homeland.
Exactly. So it's like you don't need that extra thing of like, this is mine now. You've already done all that. I also don't like the badass line at the fucking end because I hate badass one-liners of like, shall we begin? You know, I don't like that shit. It annoys me.
I do like the panning shot that they did with the map table.
Yeah.
That was a wonderful shot. This episode did have a lot. I'm sorry, I keep cutting you off because we keep saying at the same time. But this episode had a lot of really good shots, like really good cinematography, like excellent setup for some of their shots. Yeah.
What I was going to say is I felt that scene would have been perfect if, shows the boats coming in, they land, she gets off, she does the whole hand on the sand thing, because while a little bit cheesy, that is like, I'm home. After all these years,
this is exactly the place that she was born.
I'm home.
Yeah.
And it's like, it shows it shows them walking in, it shows the shots and everything as it were. And then I felt it would have been perfect if don't do the tug down bullshit. Just go ahead, cut through, go to the map room, and just instead just have her like running her hand along the side of the table, getting to the end where that big balcony area is, hands down the table, fade to black. No dialogue, no dialogue the whole damn scene. You could have done it that way and had it be powerful as hell.
The thing I would have liked is if instead of like for an ending there, taking on your idea, is that table was last used by Stannis Baratheon when planning in the War of the Five Kings.
Yep.
So why not have the pieces on the table of the armies, and they're just sitting there at the end of the table or whatever, and the scene ends with her just pushing.
I was thinking of that. I was thinking of
Just
like having
wipe
like
the
a
table.
Lannister line at the King's Landing spot and just sweep it clean.
It also made me think of House of Cards. Does anybody watch House of Cards here?
Oh, yeah.
It's season whenever he becomes president, he goes to the table and he has his hands on the table and he just knocks twice and then that's the end. That made me think of that. But here's my thing: you said that's where she's born. That's where Show Danny is born for sure, because they're
Yeah.
not going to take the time to actually go into where she was actually born, I feel. But book, that doesn't really work, because I am 1,000% confident she was not born on Dragonstone.
Why?
Because the House of the Red Door, the lemons, right?
No,
But
that's not
wait,
where she
hold
was
on,
born.
hold
That's where
on.
she was raised.
Hold on, let me finish. So that's what she remembers from her childhood, right? How does it make sense that she got away? She was born during a storm that was so powerful that the Targaryen fleet that was ported at Dragonstone was wrecked.
I don't think she got away during the storm.
She did, though. She legit left
We know that she was
during,
born during
the
the
storm.
storm.
No, she left during the storm.
Because that's when she was
I'm
born.
1,000% confident
I don't think
of
they'd have
this.
taken a newborn child and just
They did.
hopped out
Because
in the middle of the
Stannis
storm.
arrived legit right after the storm left. Right after the storm was gone, he rolls in. They escaped by literal hours. It just doesn't make sense, logically, for her to actually have been born there. I'm just saying. I don't think she was born there. I don't believe it. Not for 1 second.
So
I'm pretty sure it was just expressly stated in the book that she was born on Dragonstone.
That doesn't matter. Everybody's stating everything. She was also told she grew up in Bravos, but we know that's a fucking lie. It's directly stated that she grew up in Bravos, but it's just misinformation. I do not believe she was born at Dragonstone. Not based off the information I have to operate with.
all I have is the shows. So meh.
I don't even have that.
Ooh snap! So with that, that covers the episode.
All right, so
Let's go into the preview.
Brief-
Did anyone see the preview?
Yeah, I saw
I
the
know
preview.
we saw it.
Yeah.
We called the Nymeria scene.
okay.
Because I don't know if you noticed the Nymeria and Arya thing in the...
I didn't. The thing that I noticed most was Peter Baelish being on the ground looking like he was in pain.
Yeah.
That's the thing I noticed most, and I was just like, huh.
I have a feeling like Sansa just like nut kicks him or something. She is sick of his advances.
It's like, I don't like this. I don't like this. My thing about Sansa right now is either play the fucking game or don't play the game. If you're not going to
Right.
play the game,
She's on
side
the
with
fence.
fucking Jon, all right? And don't play the fucking game. Don't feed into the bullshit. Or play the fucking game, hook up with Littlefinger, and have his forces and use your vagina to control him like Cersei does. All right? Play the game or fucking don't. Shit or get off the fucking pot, Sansa. I'm sick. I've been defending you for 6 seasons, sorry, at this point, saying, maybe she'll get good. Maybe she'll get good. Maybe she'll get good. Fucking do it.
You've got 2 seasons of chance left to fucking
Fucking
matter.
sick of you.
You've got 2 seasons left to matter to anyone, and you're not doing a damn good job of it right now.
I'm just so mad about it.
But yes, you didn't notice the Nymeria Arya scene?
No, it flashed by really quickly, and I believe I was texting back to you whenever it was popping on.
Because I know it starts cutting through some quick shots in the preview, and one of you see Nymeria, and then it immediately cuts to Arya's face.
Mm-hmm.
You know it's Nymeria because there's only 2 fucking direwolves left.
And it's not Ghost.
And it's not Ghost.
Yeah.
Ghost is very obviously,
Yeah.
a different wolf.
Yeah, so we called that,
And that was just like a bullshit like prediction too. We were just like, oh, wouldn't it be cool if we got a Nymeria Arya thing?
yeah.
You think Nymeria is going to be leading like a small army of wolves?
She's leading a
That's
mega
what she
pack
does in
of
the
wolves.
book, yeah.
I know. I heard that's what's happening in the book, but what do you think is going to happen in the show?
Well, my prediction, our prediction last week was we were discussing Nymeria and if they'll have like a thing back and forth with them. And we said it would be nice to see her like riding through the woods, or, going wherever she's going, and she encounters Nymeria, and it's just Nymeria at first, and she's like, "Hey, it's my wolf," and she's here by herself, just like me.
Yeah.
And then you see the rest of the pack emerge from the woods or whatever.
A huge
this
mega pack.
this pack, and she realizes like, I shouldn't be alone. I should go home. Like I'm home. I can just go home now. Like and then she goes home and does her thing there.
That probably won't happen, but again, we
kinda
also said the same thing about Nymeria and Arya even seeing each other this
And
season.
then it happened.
And it immediately was confirmed the next day.
Well, here's the thing. I
Literally
kind
24 hours ago.
of don't want her to go back home to Winterfell and join up with Jon, because at that point she just becomes another backdrop, and especially given her age, Jon is not just going to like let her go back out into the forefront and wage
I don't
war
know.
against us.
After knowing all the shit she's been through, he might just be like, ugh.
Still, I just don't see it. I feel she's going to do more damage either on her own or if that whole wolf pack thing does amount to something, going with that.
Once again, I feel like she's going to change throughout the season because she's so brutal in this opening scene with Walder Frey, and just in that one scene of her being back in Westeros sitting with the Lannister soldiers, she's already being more lighthearted and more, human again.
She's acting like an adult.
And-
Which, I mean, she's had to grow up real damn quick into that given what's happened to her.
And
Yeah.
it's just kind of interesting. I think we'll get a full Stark reunion. I think all 4 Starks
I
will be
think
back
we will,
together.
Ultimately, I think if we're ever going to see like an actual like growing House Stark again, they're going to have to.
Oh, yeah.
So, you guys want to do a quick predictions for the rest of the season based off of right now? Me and you have already done most of our predictions, but
I
y'all.
would like to do this, and this is just my fancy idea.
Oh, you know what we forgot to do for Words Season 1? Statistics.
We did. We'll throw that into something.
We'll do that, yeah.
I would have to pull them up.
So here's my idea, and this is something I think is kind of neat, especially given the history of Game of Thrones as far as a TV show and the books for that matter, and what tends to happen the most in Game of Thrones. And that's people dying. Horrible, gruesome deaths. I would like to see what everyone's prediction is going off this. Who's not making it to season 8?
All right, here's my laundry list of people. Tormund's fucking dying. Jorah's fucking dying. Beric Dondarrion's dying. Thoros is dying. The Hound is dying. Brienne's dying. Bronn is dying.
Just got a fucking long list.
Grey Worm probably is going to die.
All this season?
Yes.
Okay.
Seriously?
Ghost is going to die. Ghost is for sure going to fucking die. I'm very confident of that. And then maybe Jaime.
Maybe Jaime, maybe Cersei.
Maybe Jaime,
Not
maybe Cersei.
really.
I don't see Cersei dying this season. I really don't.
I'm thinking Jaime, though. Is my
I don't know. Next season's also only supposed to be 7 episodes too, right?
No, it's 6.
6?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know. They
But from
might
what I-
kill Cersei and Jaime this season towards the end, just so that way they can cut out a plot
From
for
what,
a
from,
different
what I,
season.
well, from what I'm hearing, they're wanting to make next season, the 6 episodes, like feature film length.
Okay.
Gendry. I feel like Gendry's going to die, too.
You do? I don't think Gendry's going to die because I think, like I said earlier, he's going to be like their key person when it comes to like forging Valyrian steel. Because if you go back and look at season 1 and then season
His
4 or 5,
master is the guy that reforges
yeah,
in 4.
yeah, he's the his master was the one that was able to reforge ice into Oathkeeper and Widow's Wail. So I don't think Gendry's going to die. I think he's going to become an important plot device.
I'll just put it this way.
He might die afterwards.
The 12 people that go north of the wall with Jon, either all of them are going to die or like 2 of them are going to
or
live.
a good amount of them.
I'm saying the vast majority of them are going to die.
Yeah. Okay.
It would make sense. What about you? Who is your predictions there, Chris?
Same as his, really.
Really?
Yeah.
I'd say.
And Yara. Yara's fucking dead.
you
Oh,
think
you
you
think?
think Yara's dead?
I'm 1,000% confident Yara's fucking going to die.
My predictions are so starting as far south as I dare to go.
I hope the sand snakes die.
I feel like some of the sand snakes are going to die.
I
feel
think
like
That's a story thread that needed to go.
Abara
Yeah.
might die. The Lady of Thorns might die as well.
what's her first name? Oberon's wife.
Alaria.
I think Ilaria's going to die this season. I think she's going to get some sort of comeuppance or something's going to happen. She's going to
God, I hope so.
she's going to heavily misplay her fucking hand against Cersei and get her ass killed.
God, I hope so, because the whole Dorne storyline in the show is terrible. They ruined it.
In terms of King's Landing, I mean, the only really major players left in King's Landing right now are Jaime and Cersei and the Mountain and that Frankenstein motherfucker. I think people...
Which is the mountain.
No, the Frankenstein was the doctor,
Qyburn.
not the monster.
Don't be that guy. No one gives a fuck if it was the
Very, very
monster
true.
of
Very,
fucking
very
doctor.
true. At any rate, I feel that all the players currently in King's Landing are going to be safe this season. I don't think we're going to get any deaths out of that. Jaime may be put in peril, but I don't think he's going to die this season just yet. I feel he's going to die next season.
I honestly think, now that I know that next season's only going to be 6 episodes, I think they might do the Cersei death this season, just that way they have one less plot thread going into the War for the Dawn.
I feel that the major villain this season that's going to get their death, and it's going to be a painfully short-lived acting done by this wonderful fellow. I feel that Euron will get capped by the end of this season. Just given the fact that the grand climax is, of course, going to be the Game of Thrones itself and the White Walkers. The Game of Thrones is going to start coming to a close at the end of this season and the beginning of next, and then leading into the White Walkers. With that, Euron has no place in that fight in the end. I think Euron's going to die this season.
I think that they're going to wrap up the majority of the actual Game of Thrones this season, but I don't think it's going to be finalized until the very, very, very end of the next season.
Fair enough.
Because then they get everyone to the same point, then the War for the Dawn, and then at the end they're going to be like, all right, now who's sitting in this motherfucking pointy chair?
Exactly.
Who you think's going to sit in the chair?
We'll get to that in a second. I want to get through my list of possible dooms. But yeah, Euron, I think, and it's not going to be early on. It's definitely going to be episode 6 or 7 that Euron's going to get killed. But I think it's going to be Euron, Yara, and quite possibly Theon, all 3 getting offed this season. In terms of who's with freaking Daenerys, I feel for some reason in my mind I feel Varys is going to get killed this season, quite possibly. Then further on up north, in with Jon's crew, Tormund, I feel his time is growing really short, which is really sad because he's a fucking amazing character. I don't think Littlefinger is. Part of me really thinks Littlefinger might also die as well, but I don't know. He may be slick enough to make it till season 8.
I hope he doesn't, honestly.
I hope he doesn't.
Because Littlefinger's
he's definitely
the
dying.
best.
See, that I feel the same way. He's probably gonna, but I don't want to breathe life into it.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to make it real. Because Littlefinger's my main man.
Yeah, but
it would feel like if they kill Littlefinger before the very end, that all of his plotting and scheming will have just been for nothing.
Yeah.
And it would feel like it would just be like...
Well, they haven't gotten to the point of it yet.
Yeah.
Littlefinger's not a dude without a plan. He
and
very
it
clearly
won't make
has a
sense
plan.
to not reveal the plan until after he's dead, because then you're just going to be like... It's going to feel like they're just kind of shoehorning here's what he was actually planning, because here's a note you found or some bullshit. It just feel like it'd spoil the plot.
They took the time to make it so Littlefinger kicked off literally everything. Finish it. Just fucking just sit down.
Littlefinger is the most important character in the show.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah. You would not have any of what's happened without him.
No.
To finish it up, though, I think Podrick's going to die this season.
Mm-hmm.
I think, God, I keep forgetting his name, Onion Knight.
Davos.
I think.
Oh man, I'd be so mad if Sir Davos dies.
That's the entire point. They're going to want to get those heavy hitting deaths.
I don't think they. I really hope they don't, just because I feel like putting too many of them in one season is going to spoil it as well.
You're saying too many of them in one season. You hear the fucking list he just rattled off?
Yeah,
that's because all my people are in one place at one time.
Yeah,
fair enough. But yeah, no, I think Sir Davos is going to die. And then what else? Those are my major expectations.
Anthony unfortunately
of
doesn't
demise.
have any.
I think
Too
the
much
little
to
ragtag group of Lannister army that Arya's hanging out with is gonna wake up.
They'll probably. I don't think she's gonna kill him, but there's probably gonna be some.
No, I think she will, just to prove that she's still as cold as ice.
Maybe it'll be Nymeria's pack that kills them all, and that's where the reunion happens.
It could be.
I think she'll do it.
That
just
also
to prove
brings
she's
me to
still
my
as cold as ice.
my last assumed death. I don't feel the Starks have lost enough. Part of me feels that Arya may die this season.
I'd be okay with it.
I realize you give less than a rat's ass, Chris, about Arya's storyline, and you dislike it.
I hate
Arya.
her storyline in the show.
Okay.
Her storyline in the books is far more interesting.
But point is, she's an amazing individual. I love her story. But her plan is very, very grandiose and plenty of room for error, and I feel that she is going to fuck up and get herself killed.
Here's the real question: how close to the word brother is the word sister in Valyrian.
Well, the interesting thing about Valyrian is that based
it's-
off the fact that the prince that was promised could actually be a princess because they're not gender
Yeah, because
mounts.
you're right. So it very well could be the Valonqar could actually be a little sister as well.
It's possible.
So maybe Arya's the Valonqar.
Yeah? Who knows?
I don't know.
Now, on
All
to
I
that
do
prediction of
know-
who sits on the Iron Throne.
I think it's going to be Tyrion because he's George's favorite and he's everyone's favorite.
I also feel like it's going to be Tyrion because it'd be funny to see a midget on a throne.
I honestly just feel like it's going to be Tyrion just because everyone else seems too obvious.
Well, that's the problem. That's the problem. I feel that it is going to go to the obvious. Like,
Yeah.
I realize in throughout the majority of like seasons 1 through 5, there was no such thing as plot armor, and then
No, they're definitely fucking with some plot armor.
Yeah, they are.
There- there were-
fucking Danny fucking every problem solved immediately, literally same episode because dragons are fucking tits.
Well-
Fucking since season
Well,
2.
here's the thing. They created the illusion of no plot armor for those first few seasons. Now the plot armor is starting to show, and I truly
It's nice
feel
and shiny and pristine.
it's very
plot armor.
shiny. It's going to be the
Kingsguard armor.
Yeah, it's Kingsguard plot
Yeah.
armor.
Yeah,
It's the Valerian suit of fucking mail.
It's
Flaunting that shit.
yeah, it's Daenerys.
You
and
can't
Jon
kill
sitting
me.
on the
I'm
outside.
the protagonist.
I
fucking
feel
hate
like
Danny so much.
I actually have something other than it's George's favorite for Tyrion, and I feel like he's like the mastermind that's been running all the politics on Daenerys' side.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like he's gonna backstab her.
No,
Possibly, but I don't think so.
that's
'cause
not Tyrion's character.
Tyrion's not that guy.
No,
Well,
Also,
if
He's been playing y'all from the
right,
start.
if the motivation were right, I could see Tyrion doing it.
she would have
It
to
would be
fuck him over
very
first.
yeah.
she would have to become her father's daughter.
Yeah.
She would have to become the Mad Queen for
And then
for
I
Tyrion
absolutely
to want to kill her.
that would be interesting though because then it'd be like a Mad King Jaime, Mad Queen Tyrion
Yeah.
thing, and
That-
they like doing that history repeating itself.
Yeah, that's
bullshit in
the only way I could see Tyrion murking up Danny. He wouldn't just turn. There would have to be a very specific like, okay, I need to
a
do
very
this for
strong
the people.
catalyst.
The problem is they already have a kind of a Mad Queen vibe going with Cersei, so I don't
Yeah.
think they double up. on
So that would be
I
the
don't
only
know.
way I could see him
they're doubling up on
turning
the
her.
gains.
I'm very curious to see how Tyrion and Jaime interact with each other next time they interact. Because in the books, they're in a very different place. Because in the books, Jaime asks Tyrion, as Tyrion's leaving and Tyrion's angry with Jaime, he asks, "Did you kill Joffrey?" And Tyrion's like, "Yeah, I fucking marked him up, bruh." Where they left on good terms in the show.
Yeah.
So, I know, other than like Tyrion murdering their dad after that, but I don't think Jaime cares. Honestly.
I don't think he's that.
I don't think. I think when they see each other again, it'll be a not necessarily a heartfelt reunion, but it'll be a friendly reunion.
This is what the season's about, is reunions. I keep hitting shit with my hands. That's what it's all about. We're gonna see Hound and Arya back together. We're gonna see Hound and Brienne back together, and that's gonna be interesting. Hopefully, at some point, he's just like, "You tried to kill me, cunt."
We're gonna see Jaime and Brienne.
Back
Maybe.
together, probably. Yeah. I feel like at a certain point, all three groups are going to be together.
Yeah,
At a certain point. Anyways, guys, anything else anybody wants to cover?
No,
on the last
that's
little
it.
bits? No? Everybody good? All right, awesome. Well, guys, I do want to thank you for listening. This has been a recap of Game of Thrones Season 7, Episode 1. We are going to be doing recaps every week from now on until the season
season's over, yeah.
wraps. After that wraps, we'll go back to our traditional programming of doing commentary tracks over episodes. We will start with Season 2, and hopefully we'll be able to get all the way out until the end of Season 7 by the time Season 8 starts airing.
it's an ambitious goal, but we're aiming for it.
We're hoping we can make it happen. Anyways, guys, I do want to thank you for listening. This is a Loud Table Podcast production. We are part of the Loud Table Productions Podcast Network. We have all kinds of podcasts, all kinds. We are currently going through some restructures, so we're not sure how often we're uploading or what shows are getting cut yet. We still haven't decided. We've been looking at what you guys like to listen to and are adjusting our programs as such. But go check out those other programs. Let us know what you're interested in listening to and things that you don't like. You can also email us, loudtableproductions@gmail.com. Tell us who you think's gonna fucking die this season. Tell us what you thought of this episode. You can follow us on Twitter. We are Loudtable Prod, Prod. You can follow us on Instagram, Loudtable_Productions. We have a Facebook page, Loudtable Productions. We got a Reddit page. You can subscribe to us everywhere. You can comment everywhere. You can rate us everywhere. You can follow us individually on Twitter. I am at Gadryross. That's GADRYROSS.
And I'm Chris, or at Chris_Bogard. I'm also Chris.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, it changed.
At Anthony Hagen 13.
And I am at the Wolf Among Us. That's Wolf with an E. And yeah, that's me.
All right, guys.
That's him.
I think that about wraps it up. Please share us with all your friends and family and enemies and pretenders that
Loved
are currently
ones.
sitting your throne.
Hated ones. Just mutually okay
Tattoo
with
our
ones.
URL on your flesh and wear it proudly.
Keep in mind our most recent sponsor, Lannister's Gold Star Cutlery.
Yeah. Gotta get that dragon horn while it's still there.
Yeah.
That offer is definitely expired. It was a 2-minute offer.
Yeah. Well, they might have some backstory.
I ordered 3.
Keep a lookout.
Yeah.
They're on the way.
Hit us up. We might have some spares.
All right, guys. I do want to thank you for listening. And until next time, I still need a catchphrase.
See ya.
Catchphrase!
Cosno!